Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Our pictures will arrive on the screen. How you doing, John?
They're there.
Can you bring us down? So I'm here. I've been here. I've just been, I had a minor emergency as we put all you guys down, waiting and everything.
Well, you forgot to get your Jack Daniels?
Exactly. I looked down and I had no Jack Daniels, so I had to go that. So the delay is entirely mine.
Okay. So while you're taking care of that delay, and if you want to just sip it or sniff it to make sure it's the right thing, why don't we tell people that this show is brought to us by Q Zagami.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR and John, Joe, and Courtney. We're back for another exciting season of Seacoast RV TV. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter W.
As in Winnebago. Did you know that Seacoast RV is once again the award winner of the Flying W Award, which recognizes Winnebago dealer locations that deliver the highest service excellence and superior customer satisfaction? Don't mean to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. Speaking of Winnebagos, how about the Winnebago Access? Come on inside and take a look around. Modern and spacious interior, easier camp setup with all the deluxe features and an outstanding value? You get it all with the Winnebago Access. You know, with so many different models to choose from, though, it can get so scary and confusing. I feel like I need some help.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Seacoast RV. How can I help you today?
Selection, service center, and a huge parts and accessory department. No wonder Seacoast RV is once again Winnebago's Flying W Award winner, their highest honor. Find the perfect RV or towable for you and your family with one stop, Seacoast RV. Easy to find, Route 1 in Sokol.
Seacoast RV.
I'm Jackson.
She's got a great
Any reason
laugh.
you play the old spot?
Huh?
Any reason you played the old spot?
No, I want to do that, and I got a couple of different ads in there for the halftime report. So today is a special show.
All-star game.
So we have our NERVDA Technical Advisory Board that help us out with seminars and customers and come on the show and pass off all their knowledge. And we're going to do something different tonight. We're going to have 6 of us across the screen all at one time. So it'll be a wildfire. And if you don't know who our Technical Advisory Board is.
Bob.
What?
What you do? You play with some new stuff tonight, some new screens with all these new pictures that you can't see who the hell anybody is?
You can see Ryan on the left, Chris on the bottom left, Mike in the middle, Randy on the right. I can see them.
Yeah.
You want to see them in person?
Yeah. Bring them up one at a time. Hey, bring them up one at a time. And
should I do alphabetical order, reverse alphabetical order, alphabetical first name, alphabetical last name? You like to make these things complicated.
Yeah. Well, do it however you want. Do it however you want. Okay. Tell us your name, sir, and where you're from.
Okay.
Everybody's up.
Mr. Dougherty. Where are you from?
Mr. Dougherty.
Where are you coming from?
Well, they don't have to tell us. It's down below. The hell with them. They don't want to say who they are. We got their names down below.
Well, no, they want to. This is like a new game show. Go ahead, Chris.
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Ryan.
Holden, Massachusetts.
Mike.
Funkstown, Maryland.
Come on,
Mike, say that again.
name?
It really is Funkstown. Jonathan Funk, F-U-N-K. Funkstown. Okay. I'm on Funkstown Hill in Funkstown, my Funkstown lab. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
And Randy.
Bring us back to earth, Randy.
I'm actually in Mountville, Pennsylvania, so not as fun of a name, but probably just as strange of a place.
Now, are you staying down there now, setting up, and going to be down there until Hershey or after Hershey?
We have a team at Hershey setting up currently. I stay within about an hour in case they need technical support.
Yep. Yep. Well, the amazing thing, Bob, and I think these guys are all way too modest to tell all of us that this really is an all-star team. And the beauty of it is that they practice what they preach. And there's so many people in this RV industry today that are alleged experts, but have never done what they're telling others to do. And these guys, they've got the broken knuckles, and they've got the cuts on the hands, and they've got the experience. They're all RV owners. And you know what? We should have figured out the years of experience that they have. What do we got? 25, 30, 50. We probably got over 50 years experience.
How many years, Chris?
Let's see. I started working in the industry in 1998.
Okay, so say 25.
24 is 20. No, 2 and 24 is 26. Ryan's
not even 26 years old.
Yes, I am.
How many years, Ryan?
12.
That's
okay,
all.
38.
Mr.
Mike,
Sokol,
50.
how many years?
In electrical and industrial power and every kind of thing, 50 plus years in that, writing for the RV industry, going on, I think going on 15 years, actually writing for the RV industry.
Okay. Mr. Murray, you've been around forever based on the length of your beard.
Thanks. I've been in the RV industry probably, I think this is my 25th year working for an RV dealer, and I was an electrician for probably 15 years prior to that.
So you're 40, 90, 105, 130, and 25, 175 years between all of you.
Yeah, but Bob, add your experience in, and there's another 200 years.
28. I got 28, so that almost gets us past 200 years, and that's without even counting you. But you haven't done anything for the last 25 years. So
yeah, I'm like a politician. I've been faking it for 20 years.
We bailed you out. Hey, I wanted to do something different tonight. I was really in a very creative mood today. It must be that Prevagen. I started taking that Prevagen to get the brain going a little bit. So it must be starting to kick in.
Yeah,
so
they had to find, but he had to take it double to find the brain. The first month doses was to find if there was a brain. Then secondly, then to kick it in.
You're right. The first month I said, I don't think this shit works.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it does. Hey, so here's the game. Something that you don't know about Chris Dougherty. Anybody want to take a guess? You lose. We don't have all night.
Really?
Historian on the give us a little overview of the other thing that you do very well.
Well, I'm a maritime historian, and I concentrate on powered ships, powered vessels, but that includes Titanic. I have a number of years that I've worked with the Titanic Historical Society, and some other projects, and steamships, ocean liners, things like that, all very interesting to me. But yeah, Titanic has been a focus of mine for Chris, many years.
I know why we get along so well, because I have had a relationship with ocean liners too. I sample buffets at all of the Royal Caribbean cruises.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Well, Chris, what about the big news yesterday on the Titanic?
Yeah, so RMS Titanic Incorporated, they have the salvage rights to Titanic. And so they did another trip out there and dove on the ship. And one of the big things that they were doing that I'm very interested in is high-res scans of the entire debris field, which is very interesting. And they've been monitoring the decay of the ship. Obviously in the past 20 years, it's 25, 30 years, it's continued to degrade and will do so. So it's starting to collapse in on itself.
They brought back a couple of million pieces, right? Yesterday.
Oh no, they've brought back pieces for years. I don't know what they brought back yesterday.
This particular haul, it was in the millions. All right.
But hold on 1 second. I got to ask Chris 1 second. Chris, in the last 10 years, wouldn't you say that the advances in video technology have been absolutely amazing in checking out what's down there?
To some extent, it has. One of the benefits, the thing about it is a lot of the footage that's been taken down on Titanic has been with very high resolution cameras over the years, even IMAX. When Ballard found it in '85, they used some decent technology that they had. Jim Cameron really ramped it up quite a bit with what he and the team did, which was fantastic, over time. What they're doing now is digital scanning, and so it's going to be interesting to see what they've come out with.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna switch off to Mike here real quick. But have you had any desire yourself to dive down that deep?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did have a brief opportunity to do that. I have a number of friends who've been down numerous times to the wreck site, and I would have had to pay the $50,000 at the time to go down and do that, and with Jim Cameron's team and the Russian Institute, but I did not do that.
I'm sure Kurt Himmler at RVTI would have sponsored you.
Yeah.
How about our Mr. Electricity? Anybody guess what his unique thing is before he found the RV industry?
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right, man.
Some of the loudest sound stages for pop singers. Some of the
big rock stuff, not just pop stuff. And I started as a musician. My mom said I could play piano before I could talk. I was one of those guys. Had huge rock bands in the 70s, like glam rock with, chrome jumpsuits and huge hair. And then I got hired to do big shows because I had such a background in electricity. So I've done every kind of thing. I've done stuff for Beyonce. I've done stuff for Oprah. The loudest thing I ever did was Black Sabbath. And once I got all that set up, I got to run the mosh pit and if you've never run a mosh pit for Black Sabbath, you haven't lived, because it's the loudest thing I have ever heard. And this was their reunion tour with all of the guys. Man, that thing was loud. So I specialize in power distro at these huge shows. So I'm into generators and lighting and sound. A lot of times I would run the sound as well, because I have a strong background in every kind of music. But I was a rock and roll sound engineer doing really, really loud stuff. And also, jazz and gospel and you name it. But the loud stuff was fun.
The big question is, when Randy was fronting ZZ Top, did you ever work with him?
No, we had to call security a couple of times to kick him out because he kept trying to slip up on stage.
I see. Is there more complexity to doing a louder concert?
The new stuff are huge line arrays. It used to be there was so much. It was so hard to stack all that stuff. And in fact, in my kid's basement, we've got 4 of the last speakers that were used for Queen for their very, very last show at Live Aid in England. And it was really hard, but now the new stuff like hoists up and you can put this up in chain motors, and everyone wants the best sound in the room. So a lot of this is digital modeling. You put in all the calculations. It tells you how high to pull the speakers, how to adjust them.
Don't bury us. We don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about.
Well, what I'm saying is we use computers to tell us what the room is going to sound like before we actually set speakers up, so you don't have to guess.
Well, John uses computers to see how his Chef Boyardee is going to taste like.
There you go.
All right, let's see. Next up, Mr. Murray.
Randy.
I'll give you the hint. He is one hell of a cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you let him tell him that? Why didn't you let him tell us that?
Well, first I want to say hi to our.
We won't even get to talk about the stuff we're supposed to talk about.
I want to say hi to our friend Jim Roy, who had a little medical issue recently, and looks like he's on the straight and narrow. That kept him one extra day in the hospital. But hi, Jim. Hope everything's going okay. Second is if you think about cooking, and this didn't really come to me until later on in life. We are a bunch of guys that take material, put it together with tools, get an end result, and that's what cooking is. So I figured out that I could build stuff and eat it when I was done, and the rest is history per se. And as I got older, I was able to afford some better equipment, and I'm not gonna lie, better equipment makes better food. I don't care who you are, so I've got way too much better equipment now. But
that's probably same with speakers, right, Mike?
Oh gosh, yeah. The step when I would go out and do a large show, I probably have $10 million in gear that we're using for a show. I mean, the mixing console can be upwards of $1 million. Usually 500,000 for smaller shows. But yeah, it's crazy.
And Randy, I guess the better tools, the better mechanic you are, right?
Usually, as you escalate, you can afford, or you're making more, so it kind of all falls in line. And the same with the restaurant. I could open a restaurant with what I have in my outdoor kitchen, no problem.
Wow. Hey, Randy, one thing that I figured out when I learned this a couple weeks ago when we were up in the great state of Maine, Frank Palange, he is a hell of a cook.
Oh yeah.
And the crew that he assembles every weekend, it seems like he's out with a different group of people. And it appears, though, Frank, I hope you're still with us here. The level of what's the call I'm trying to say? The degree of difficulty of cooking seems to increase every week.
Well, it seems like they cook enough food to feed the whole campground too.
Oh yeah.
Let's get Ryan in here. Oh, that's Randy. Let's get Ryan. Anybody want to guess what Ryan does in his spare time? If you follow his Facebook page, you'd know.
Yep.
Anybody?
I know.
You know. All right, tell us.
Ryan, go ahead.
Other than taking care of kids, that's my main thing. But build and drive race cars.
Wow.
Yep.
Are you on the track yet? I know you're building a new one this year.
Drag racing since I was 10 years old. I started off in what they call junior dragsters, which is like small go-kart dragsters. Then when I was 16, I moved up to a full-size car, and I raced from the time I was 16 till the time I was about 30. I took about 8 years off because I was pregnant with kid number 4, and within the last 2 years,
cut the schedule down.
And I went back into drag racing. I'm in the process of finishing my car right now.
Hey, what is I haven't seen anything on it, but what's the condition of John Force? There was a lot at the beginning. I haven't seen anything for a couple of months.
I haven't seen anything either. I know he's not coming back to racing. I don't think he'll ever. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he did take a pretty good hit. The car blew up and he crashed. So I don't back.
I'd say that's a pretty good hit.
Has his daughter won the championship?
That I don't. I know the countdown started, but I don't think it's not over yet.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Bob's into drag stuff too, but it's how he dresses. It's not how he drives.
No,
I don't know what you meant by that.
That's how I dragged the Jack Daniels bottom from the bottle from the back of the bar to the front of the bar.
Yeah.
So what do we got here tonight? Oops. Dante's in here.
All right.
Jim Convoy. Jim, I think you're back from the Grand Design Rally. You look like you had a hell of a time out there.
Jim, speaking of gyms, Jim Roy is the ultimate person who, working on campers, will raise your blood pressure.
That's right. But he's got to do a little bit better. That was just a small heart attack. And I told him the doctors wanted to keep him there and get his blood pressure down. And I told him, just tell the doctor to bring you a bottle of Jack Daniels. It's worked for me for 50 years. Don't need all that expensive medication. I suspect he'll join tonight somehow. If he can get a hold of his iPad or whatever. Brian is here. Now, this is a bunch. Hello, guys. Hello, Brian.
What can I say?
25th year for Randy. Time for a vote for the Hall of Fame. That's right. You have to be 25 years in the business before you can even get nominated. Frank says, take away John's experience and you're down to 50 years. Take away, yeah, like he's got 150.
Yeah, right.
Frank does these cryptic messages. That's right. He's talking about the 25 years. There'll be this item for sure. What? I have no idea what he's talking about.
Know what he's talking about.
They're going to Titanic, I think.
I think
Oh,
Brian's
yeah.
Like he's got about 10 comments. That was a nice resume. I can follow showing his age. I'm showing my age. Most admired facial hair. That's Randy. He cut it off, no one would recognize him. That's funny. When was the last time you didn't have facial hair, Randy?
Oh,
When he was 3.
yeah, probably. Maybe 4. As soon as
He was probably born. I think he was born with that. You know. Hi, Mom.
I have a very weak chin, so I've had a beard of some sort since I could grow one.
Look, he says,
So Kevin's going to be at Hershey. I'll be there all week teaching.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Hey, Kevin.
I'm out here now setting the displays. Good. Did you guys see the press release? They got another home run fifth wheel. We did Scott Taylor's Heroes one a couple of weeks ago, but they've got a new Fusion.
Stars and Stripes Fusion.
Stars and Stripes Fusion with speckled stars on the side and a matte paint finish. They're going to unveil that on September 11th. An appropriate
Find
date.
out all about it
Right?
on
All
this week's
September
Camper
11th.
Report Show.
Hershey. Yep.
Yeah. Kevin, we'll see you. Well, Kevin will be in a new booth this year. We won't be looking at the midnight edition tonight this year.
We'll have to go find the Coleman booth.
Yeah.
We should have Camping World flags all over it, seeing that they sell about 99.
So, guys, getting down to business here.
Let's get to business.
Is there one specific thing that people at this time, we know we're hitting Labor Day. We've probably got, again, depending upon where you're located, but since this show is RVing in New England, maybe we've got 6 to 7 weeks max, unless you're Jason Cole and Cavosa and those guys that go right up to Thanksgiving. What should you start looking for and start prepping for as we wind down the season? And you don't know how much it hurts me to say wind down the season. I think I'm going to go back to Florida this year.
People that camp in the fall, one thing I recommend is run your furnace before you go to the campground. Make sure it works.
Yeah.
Agreed. Why do you say that, Ryan? What have you found?
No, just a lot
because it hasn't run all season.
Yeah, it hasn't run all season. They may not have cleaned it all season. They may not have cleaned it back in the springtime. They may not have ran it back in the springtime. And now it's been sitting all summer, and you don't know what's in it, if it needs to be cleaned or if it runs. So it's a good idea to run it before you go to the campground. That way you don't have to call for an emergency call while you're at the camp.
Yep. Good point.
Mike, what about electricity?
One thing that, and so I'm looking at all of the calls that I'm going to get in the spring from people that have forgot to do things
now,
during fall, especially when you're getting to winterization. And the simplest thing they could do, a lot of people pull their batteries out. You need to document what the wiring is. And the best way to do that is just take some pictures of this. Yeah. I cannot tell you the number of people say, how can I hook these back up? And I'm going, all you do is put a little white electrical tape around them, mark them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, take some pictures. And then when you disconnect them, you're not standing there with a bunch of wires going, how the heck does this hook up? Or they'll say, I only hooked it up backwards for a second. And why did it blow? And you'll have a lot of stuff that have fuses, but I mean, you just do a tremendous amount of damage. So now when you're getting ready to wind down, start to document what any of this stuff is. You have no excuse. We've all got high resolution cameras in our phones.
Yep.
Take pictures.
Yep. Chris,
Randy, either one of you.
Go ahead, Chris.
You talk about winding down the as you go through the season. One of the things that I like to encourage people to do is clean their RV very thoroughly and make sure that everything is cleaned out of the inside of it. Mice are a big problem during the wintertime in RV storage. They can do a lot of damage. So trying to prevent rodents from getting into your RV is important. Cleaning is a good way to start that. You can be doing that as you go through the last few camping trips that you do. And then once you put the unit in storage, make sure everything is sealed up well. There's a couple of tricks that people have for trying to keep mice out, whether it's mothballs or mouse free or one of those kinds of things, the sachet bags. You can talk to people and see what they prefer as far as a product like that. But cleanliness is a big piece of it, keeping food out and that type of thing.
Can we all agree that those dryer sheets are useless?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've pulled dryer sheets out of mouse nests in RVs. Buried in walls and like back caps of motorhomes and things like that I've taken apart.
And the other old wives' tale I heard is Irish Spring soap. Waste of time.
They eat it.
Right. So it doesn't kill them.
It's an appetite.
I saw a bar, but it had teeth marks on it.
Right.
And not just a little, a whole lot.
I'm the least technical guy here, I think. I mean, the people may be worse, but when I had my RVs, and I don't know if anybody ever taught it to me or I just did it. I never, in all my years of RVing, have had a mouse problem. But I used to take the floor vents and stack 2 or 3 magazines on top of it and put a brick on it. I never had a mouse in my RV. Any one of them. I don't know if that is something that other people recommend, or was I just stupid and it was the only thing available at the time?
I know they can get through the tiniest little crevice.
Mm-hmm.
I have people all the time that ask me how to mouse-proof their camper, like make it so no mice can get in. And actually tomorrow I'm going to a job where I have to replace all the heat ducts because mice just destroyed them. It is impossible. I mean, it's I wouldn't say impossible. Keeping mice out of a camper is extremely, extremely hard. And you can do anything to prevent it, but there's still a chance that you're going to get mice. And where it's parked, where you park your camper for the winter, makes a big difference too.
Mm-hmm.
I used to park it on the grass.
And how about the engine? I mean, for the motorized units, is there anything to spray? I mean, I have that Grandpa Gus's stuff that has a mint aroma to it, whatever smell. Yeah. Luckily it's worked for me, even though I've put those stickum things down and caught a few of them that way.
I've seen, and we used to do it when we had a camper. We used to do it. We used to take cupcake tins and soak mothballs in peppermint oil, and then put those everywhere in the camper. And we never had mice either, but we also don't live really near woods or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you remove the food source, at least that helps.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you got to sweep it all out, and you can't leave anything in there. And oh gosh, I mean, ugh.
Randy, wrap it up, and then we'll do the halftime commercial.
I guess it hadn't been mentioned yet. I think right now, as I'm starting to wrap up my camping season, especially when it's still a little warm out, I'm getting up on that roof. I'm going to inspect my roof seals. I'm going to apply my lap sealant, if applicable, and I'm going to make sure that everything looks good up there before I put it to bed for the winter. If I wait too long on that, lap sealant is temperature according, and if you can't get it inside and in a controlled environment, it may not do what it's supposed to do. So I'd probably get up there and take care of that if I was a consumer. And the RV industry is getting a lot more stringent about that. There will be a day where they're going to require you to have it done at a dealership to prove that it's been done. Right now, they're asking for receipts to see that you bought material because they are warrantying roofs and they're warrantying water damage that comes from roofs, but if you're not appropriately taking care of it. So that's what I would recommend to do for anybody. And while it's under warranty or not.
Yep. Maybe Jim Conboy wants to wants to weigh in on that. But before I say that,
we do the commercial and get it out of the way, and then we'll come back to the convo. So Seacoast RV, as you know, is our big primary sponsor, has been for almost a year now. So they've got their winterizing specials up on their website. You want to take a chance, starting at $125. They have their schedule for winter service, recommended fall services, roof inspection, roof pre-seal, slide out inspection, slide out lubrication, wheel service, and furnace cleaning. And they are blowing out their 23s and 24s below dealer cost. If you haven't noticed, most of the dealers are doing the same thing. And I know I say it every week, but there has never been a better time to buy an RV from a customer standpoint. So Seacoast RVs, creating family fun on Route 1. All right. Did you say Mr. Convoy has got a comment?
Well, no, I said he may want to weigh in on the issue with roof stuff. But guys, tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. Everybody thinks that, in New England, we got to watch out because the weather is really going to wreak havoc with our roofs. But would you agree that the sun during the summer can be just as damaging, if not more damaging, on the lifespan of a roof, guys? I see Chris nodding.
Absolutely.
Convoy must have got a good night's rest after he got back from Elkhart. Race car driver, mice don't like to read porn, Bob. Mice don't like to read porn magazines. He had to do it twice to see if he caught my attention. Hey,
what the hell? What's he talking about?
When I said
the magazines on the
vents.
The magazines. Stuff those old Playboys down the hatch there.
Richard Rayborn, Embassy RV, no roof penetration. We're not that smart, Richard. You got to give us a little bit more hint there. I'm not sure if you're a roof company or Embassy RV is an RV. What makes it so that there's no roof penetration? I don't know. You tech guys, I'll throw it out there. But if you get a big enough, I don't know. Richard may be a new fan, but wouldn't you say that if you get a big enough tree, there's going to be penetration? I don't care what you do. Anybody?
Yeah, and no matter what you do, unless you get the forever roof like Jim has, you're going to have to inspect your seals annually. I recommend customers to inspect their seals twice a year, have them inspected twice a year.
That's what's required by spring and fall.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because again, as we've agreed here, turn the phone off.
No, that was mine, but it's not. Right, so Richard,
and some of the manufacturers come right out, like Forest River's Big Four, I think Gulfstream. They put a sticker on saying you have to inspect all seals on your RV every 90 days.
Yep, I've seen those.
So, so if you're, you have an RV, it certainly isn't bad to do it more frequently, but just be aware of that if they are saying every 90 days, you're going to have to document that you're doing that. So keep a logbook or something saying, hey, I've checked these things out.
Interesting.
And
Richard came back and said it's how they build. So first he said Embassy RV, no roof penetrations.
So it must be mechanically no holes through the roof.
Maybe he's joking there because he came back and said it's how they build. Yeah.
That's how they must build it, with a one-piece roof and no penetrations.
Yeah. I don't know. Must be the vice president of sales.
John,
well, it isn't just the roof penetrations though, guys. It's also of the sidewalls too. Don't forget windows, doors, compartment hatches, things like that. You could have a dryer vent or range vent, something on the side of the coach. That's got a leak in it. Eventually, you get behind the sidewall. I mean, Class B motorhomes, they're a little different because it's built as a van, right? It's the actual vehicle body. But anything that you have a manufactured side like that, anything that goes through it, you can still have leaks. So make sure you're checking the sides too.
All right, John. I know John and I will be down there. I know Chris will be down there. I know Randy will be down there. I know Mike will be down there.
I'm teaching RV technicians Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday through Sunday I've got like 1 hour seminars up in the champions room where all the beer is.
Okay.
Yep.
Chris, what do you got? I know you're doing a lot of work.
That's one of your topics.
PRVCA. What are you teaching?
So we're also doing, I'm working with the RV Safety and Education Foundation for technician training on Monday. Trey and I are going to be doing RV weights and weight and balance tires, that type of thing. And then through the week, I'm going to have consumer seminars each day on a number of different topics, purchasing your first RV at the RV show, and some RV maintenance and things like that.
Okay, Mike, I think you answered Jim's question, didn't you?
Which question was that?
Mike, Jim Lotus says, Mike, what topics are you teaching at Hershey?
Okay. So there's going to be general electricity. Now for the technicians, the Monday one's going to really be like lithium and solar and that stuff. And then Tuesday is going to be on advanced troubleshooting. But for the customers, for the consumers, I think mine's from 1 to 2 each day, and it's going to be on pedestal measurements, surge protectors, and basic ideas on measuring and stay safe around electric power. I only have 1 hour, and it's got to be the same class every day.
Okay.
Yep.
And are you heading down, Ryan, or are you too busy?
No, I can't. I'm too busy.
Have you hired anybody yet?
I've tried. I've been trying, and it hasn't worked out. It just hasn't worked out. I had somebody lined up, and it didn't work out.
Tough out there.
That's the way it is. I mean, even down majors, they have the sign.
How you finding
around 50 years? Yeah.
Dealer level, Randy?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
How you finding it at the dealer level, hiring techs?
Impossible. There's no techs. So if you're trying to hire a tech, don't bother. I'm trying to hire people with skills that I can apply, and then train the other stuff.
You're going beyond just trying to find the tech, huh, Randy?
Yeah, we've got an in-house recruiter. I've probably in the last week I've interviewed 7 or 8 potential wannabe technicians, and I finally talked to a young man today that has never been in our world. He does some solar stuff, but I liked him the best. He had the best attitude, former military, and just it seemed like he had a work ethic. I had a dude show up in slippers the other day and tell me his car needed to be fixed.
So, Randy, just a quick question. What do you see as a major shortcoming in their education or their background? I mean, do you see a shortcoming in electricity and plumbing and wheels? What?
Electrical is the hardest, as you would know. I mean, either you understand the theory behind electricity or you do not. And there's lots of people out there that don't grasp it. Like, I wouldn't invite Bob over to my house to help me wire something. I'd probably call you. So I ask those questions, and I usually have my tester there, and I'll give a guy that says he knows about electrical. I'll give him my tester, and I'll start asking him, show me how you'd ring something out.
Yeah.
And when they don't know what that little ohm sign means, I'm like, oh, so you're not an electrician.
Meters scare people. I mean, the simplest little meters just terrifies them. I know what all the buttons do. And they're like, ah!
And if they can answer half of the buttons, I'm like, I'm going to talk to the guy. A lot of carpenters out there. But
they scare when they do the job for them.
What's that now?
Why do meters scare people if the meters do the job for them?
Oh, the meters don't do the jobs for you. You've got to predict what the meter's going to read before you put the meter on it. And you've got to understand when I get this reading, it implies this. And when I get this reading, it implies that. When I was teaching I was an adjunct professor for 10 years at Shenandoah Conservatory, teaching all kinds of pro audio stuff. I was teaching basic electricity inside of amplifiers, and it was high voltage. It could kill you. And nobody could set a meter in there. They could tell me what voltage they expected and what it meant if they got some strange reading. So you just don't stick a meter in there and for it to tell you something. You can say, I know this is going to be somewhere between 400 and 500 volts DC. So I'm predicting this can be between 100 and 130 volts AC.
Mike, that explains why Randy wouldn't invite me over to his house to work on his electricity. You notice DePietro is very quiet. He's not jumping into the conversation at all.
You know what? These guys know more about this topic. Why should I jump into it when they know what they're talking about? And besides, when you're talking RV electricity, okay, and I'm sure Chris and Ryan would agree, is a faulty move can zap your RV. And I don't mean zap like the guy who used to play for the Patriots. I mean, you're talking major repairs.
It can be bad. And the thing is, people hire residential electricians. These things are so different than house wiring. Man, there's so much stuff going on, and these guys do some really silly things. So industrial electricians, residential electricians that have never encountered an RV, you do not want them working on your RV.
Yep.
No, they've made a lot of money by hooking that 30 amp outlet up to 220.
I have probably hundreds and hundreds of emails because the darn thing looks like an old dryer outlet.
Yeah, it does.
And they put 2 pole on it. And I said, this is one of the best reasons to go buy a nice, intelligent EMS surge protector. You plug it in, it will not let that through. Yeah. But man, oh man, I still get this. And you know, I just had an electrician install a 30 amp on the back of my house and plug in. How that skilled
electrician would install something to power an entire RV with no neutral.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it. Well, we get into the problem, you know, with this, you get electric vehicle chargers. They don't require, Tesla did not require a charger on a 1450 outlet. It looks just like, it is in fact a RV 50 amp outlet with no neutral in it. And I had one guy who was so rich, he pulled his Tesla out of his car and he pulled his big Class A up to it and he plugged it into that. And man, oh man, he did so much damage. So, you just look at this and I just shake my head. I've been trying to get technicians these guys let me teach classes for them, but man, it's a hard uphill push.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys all a question, you experts, a question on electricity here, because there have been so many various answers to the question, but you've got an RV that's a 30 amp RV, a regular Class C. Okay, I'm not talking about a 45-foot diesel pusher, and you want to plug it into your house just to keep the fridge going. Okay, should you be utilizing the air conditioner while you're plugged into your house? Into your stick and brick house? You've got.
Do you have a 30 amp receptacle there, or you're talking just a regular Edison?
Regular wall plug.
No.
You're going to trip the breaker in your house.
Yeah.
You're putting too much of a load on the circuit. You're going to trip the breaker in your house.
Yeah. Or burn up the wiring. And you can be, depending on how well everything's built. So it is tricky. It can be done for a little bit, but man, oh man, it's so hard. You really do not want to do that. Now, charging your batteries, yes. Running your refrigerator, yes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But you really don't want to be trying to run an air conditioner, especially a 15K one, off of a regular house outlet.
You got a 15 amp service
with 30 extension cords going to the outlet. That doesn't help at all either.
Right. Longer extension cords have more voltage drop and it creates more current draw on air conditioners. I've done studies of this for NEC, for the National Electrical Code Group, on exactly how that works. So yeah, lower voltages promote higher current draw, which then causes more voltage drop and wiring to burn up. It's just basically you descend into the various circles of hell with this kind of stuff.
Basically, if you're gonna plug your RV into your house, just use it to keep the fridge and batteries.
I always tell plugging your RV into your house is basically just maintaining your batteries and keeping everything charged.
Yeah, keep it charged. Now, I will tell you though, let me just inject something about charging stuff, especially for people that have gotten new RVs. You do not want to just go, especially if you've got an older one, do not put a trickle charger on your batteries and then just walk away from them for the winter, especially if they're flooded lead acid. It will boil the batteries out. I had one person do this, and then the sulfuric acid boiled down to the bottom of the battery compartment, rotted through the floor, and the batteries fell out the bottom of the RV. And this poor lady she was just adamant. They just told me I just had to plug it in. And it was just an old RV, and it didn't really have a 3-stage charger. Didn't have one with a maintenance charge on it. So yeah, don't. And I tell people, if you're going to be using it, check your water level every month or so. If you have flooded lead acid.
Yep.
Yeah. Tim says He is currently blessed with premium employees, and he's filtered many out that did not meet up to quality standards expected at Tim's RV. You have to set the standards, and I know you do that, Randy, up at Pete's. It's very difficult, but Tim's been out there a long time and does a great job. And he says, "Hello, well, Christopher Dougherty, did I miss your comments?" Yeah, he's quiet tonight. He's sitting out on the deck. I think he's cooking steaks on the side, and he's just waiting for us.
Right. And that's why I didn't go out, because 7 to 8 o'clock this time of year. It's dark now, Chris, right?
It is.
A question, Randy and Chris and Ryan. You saw on the Seacoast ad, they have a kind of like a shopping list of services. Do you do like a email blast to your customers and say, come in for service and it's X number of dollars for this, and this? Do you actively promote it, or do you just have enough business that you don't even have time to handle any new business? How do you handle it? Randy?
Go first.
We absolutely do. We do email. We do Facebook. We'll throw some stuff on YouTube. I get out there and talk about it. We've got a great customer base, but it's always nice to let them know what's going on. We add pricing and services and give them options, educate a little bit. So we make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, Ryan, do you have time for that? You're so busy.
So I don't really do email blasts. I'm not really an email person. I'd rather talk to people on the phone and stuff. I do talk to customers once in a while through email, but I don't really do an email blast like that. What I do is when you call me for a winterization or anything in the fall, I say, listen, this is, we can do it one way. I can come and just put antifreeze in drain the water, put antifreeze in, and that's a winterization. Or we can, I have different tiers. We can check your seals. We can clean all your appliances. We can take your battery out if you want. There's different levels. Check your roof seals, check all your exterior seals, and winterize it. Or if you want to get a jump on your wheel bearings, we can do that in the fall instead of in the springtime. Or I can. I don't know why I say we.
Folks, if you just joined us,
you do anything special with your PhD newsletter and stuff like that?
Yeah, so a lot of dealers and shops will have like Ryan was saying, different menu of services that they do in the fall. It's always recommend, winterization. We all get the winterizing thing with the plumbing system, but sometimes, as Ryan and Randy both mentioned, getting ahead on some services. The fall is a good time to do maintenance on your appliances, things like that. Certainly make sure that the unit is sealed up for the winter, and you can get a cover for it if you're not storing it indoors, which is always a good thing to do. You get some of that maintenance out of the way, generators, things like that. It's always good to service that stuff in the fall.
Let me stop you, Chris, because you said the magic word, and it creates controversy every year. And you go on the website, on the internet, and you see all these different opinions. Getting a cover for it. Mm-hmm. Why should you spend money on a cover when you can just go to Ocean State Job Lot and pick up a gigantic tarp and tie it to the ground? Why should you buy a cover designed for an RV?
So a few different things. First of all is the materials that RV specific covers are made out of will often breathe a little bit, and some of them have Tyvek tops, which will allow some of the moisture to wick away from the surface of the unit. It won't keep that moisture in between and cause mold and mildew. The second thing is that the RV tarps are very abrasive. And so if you don't tie them down well enough, or you don't pad the corners, I've seen them rub right through RV membrane roofs and do paint damage and that kind of thing. Not to mention that after a while, they will just fray where the corners touch, especially if it's pulled down pretty tight. It can be, the cover itself will fail, or the tarp will. And the other thing is that a cover is designed to fit your RV, right? So it's got tie downs and things like that will snap underneath it and hold it a little bit tighter to the body of the RV, which is a good thing. So it's the wind, you get winds and things during the wintertime. If the cover starts to flap around or whatever else, it can do some body damage. that you'll end up finding in the spring.
Yep. So don't try to cheap out in the fall and end up paying a much more expensive price in the spring.
Look
who had just joined us, Zagami, at 7:50.
Joined us. I got him right.
Let's
there.
Give a round of applause.
A round of applause for Jim
Roy. One of the nicest guys. One of the nicest guys in the RV industry. And Bob, tell everybody what happened to Jim Roy.
Jim had a small heart attack and had some procedures done. I think they were doing them today, and he was hoping to get back to the shop today, but maybe he'll get back there tomorrow. That's where I told him, just let the guys give you a couple of shots of Jack Daniels and he'll get up off the bed and hurry back to Monmouth, Maine. But we're glad to report he is doing well. He's chomping at the bit to get out of there and get back to the shop. And in his absence, Tim talked about his excellent crew. Jim is in that same boat. He's got an amazing set of craftsmen that work on all those restorations, and they held the fort down while he's gone. So, in fact, they probably enjoyed it while he's gone. They may have enjoyed the vacation.
Yeah. So, Jim Roy, did they make you shave your beard? Did they cut your beard off when you were in the hospital?
Not on the pictures that he sent out.
I got to be back to pay the guys on Friday.
He said what?
He says, I got to be back to pay the guys on Friday. Yeah.
He's been a busy man. So between the new foundations and
that dude never stops. Like he's got 10 huge projects going all the time, and then he's got work. Dude never stops.
He's really got a 4-year backup at his store.
He built a carport for the Silver Moose. He graded the driveway, and I didn't fully understand it, but I think he took the old foundation was cracking or something, but they jacked up the house a little bit and dug everything out and built a whole new foundation. If I read him right, I think he's going to extend part of the shop into that area. Picks up a new basement area. So yeah, he's been one busy guy. I mean, you think after working like that for the last year or something, you say, man, this is a comfortable bed. The food's not bad.
Read his last comment.
Mm-hmm. It must have been angioplasty time. Go ahead, Bob. Put it up.
What do you say? I still have the beard, but let's say I can wear a Speedo now. Oh, that's
some things you cannot unsee.
That's not the picture I want to have near the end of the show.
Well, look we know he's well. He's got when you have your sense of humor back, they got to throw you out of the hospital.
Well, I don't think he ever lost it, even when he posted the thing that he had a small heart attack. At least they told him it was a small one. So small ones are the best ones. So rest up, Jim. Hope you have back in good forms, and we see you again next week. And I don't think he'll be going out to Hershey. Got too much work to do there. We're running down the line here. So any last minute comments or recommendations on what people should do over the next few months to get ready? Chris, anything else you thought of during the show?
Yeah, I got a question for Randy, and this is something that is interesting for other dealers and things like that. But so in the fall, a lot of people do want to get winterized. And when I worked for Diamond RV, and Mark Lebrecht was here in our group, and hi, Mark, by the way, did a great thing. We had the winterizing clinic. And so it would be a day during the fall when they would set it up and people would drive through the dealership around the building, get winterized, and they'd have an open house at the same time and that type of thing. And so it was like a drive-through winterization service. And I'd love to see that. It can be something that's real speedy for people to get the work done. And it can also be a great thing for the dealership too. And works out real well. So it's one of the better ideas I've.
Yeah, I think Karen McDonald did it. I don't know if you carried it over, Randy, when you picked up her place down there. Marty Hanoud used to do.
Marty. Yeah. Well, when he did do those fall getaways, and
Majors
is doing them October 3, 4, 5 majors will be doing the winterization.
Yeah, I think Hemlock Hill used to do the drive-through also.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
typically do that at 3 different times throughout the fall, and we advertise it. We do a drive-through. Even at McDonald's, that was the only time where you could actually drive around the building. We cleaned it up so you could drive around. And I'll set up 2 275-gallon drums full of antifreeze, and we'll run 2 lanes, and we'll get you in and out of there pretty quick. And we usually have coffee and donuts, or we're cooking hot dogs and hamburgers and making a day out of it, having some fun with it. I will entertain you while we're winterizing your coach and get you back out the door and get you ready for winter for sure. We have
Randy, is the McDonald's location going to be changing?
The sales lot is staying there. We will be moving the service facility. I can't disclose any more than that at this time.
Yeah. But is there anything on Route 1 again, or is that all gone?
The store will be a car dealership.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Yep. There's a bunch. There's tons of car dealerships available on Route 1 just north of the stadium, if that's what you're talking about.
It's a very small facility, and we're looking for something a little larger that can accommodate our volume and get my techs inside and things like that. So it'll be a good move. And again, that's all I can say on it at this time. But yes, we will be moving the service facility at some point.
Cool. Great. Hey, we want to thank you guys so much because this was put together on a dime, right, Bob?
Yeah, I think I wrote to them late last night. I had this idea and sent them an email at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and they had all responded within a couple of hours. We put it all together, played around with some new graphics. You guys are fantastic, and I love this 6. How do you feel about the 6 across and the open format?
I think it works good.
Oh yeah, everybody behaved. No fist fights, nothing. No food fights. Food fights.
Like this. Go.
Exactly. So, Bob, we will not be here next week.
Yeah, we're not going to do a show. That's right. I forgot to make up that graphic. We're not going to do a show next week because John and I will be on assignment in Hershey. Chris will be out there, and Uncle Bernie is also going to be out there. So we're going to give everybody a week off next week. But I will post that, and then we'll be back the week after that.
Week.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Cool.
Bob, you
Very
want to
good.
play that last commercial, and we'll mosey on out.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR and John, Joe, and Courtney. We're back for another exciting season of Seacoast RV TV. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter W.
As in Winnebago. Did you know that Seacoast RV is once again the award winner of the Flying W Award, which recognizes Winnebago dealer locations that deliver the highest service excellence and superior customer satisfaction? Don't mean to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. Speaking of Winnebagos, how about the Winnebago Access? Come on inside and take a look around. Modern and spacious interior, easier camp setup with all the deluxe features and an outstanding value? You get it all with the Winnebago Access. You know, with so many different models to choose from, though, it can get so scary and confusing. I feel like I need some help.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Seacoast RV. How can I help you today?
Selection, service center, and a huge parts and accessory department. No wonder Seacoast RV is once again Winnebago's Flying W Award winner, their highest honor. Find the perfect RV or towable for you and your family with one stop, Seacoast RV. Easy to find, Route 1 in Sokol.
Seacoast.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.